Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my February 2019 horoscope report for you. Go to anniehelpsyou.com to check out my blog and all kinds of other goodies on my site, including enrollment for my astrology apprenticeship program if you'd love to learn astrology with me. Also, if you'd love to be a coach as your profession and bring your business online, my coach certification and online business training course is enrolling now. And I have launched my new publishing company, Luminous Life Publishing, Books and Beyond, and along with it, my new book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life and the World in 28 Days. So you can see more about this prayer book that is for all denominations at anniehelpsyou.com. So February is one of my most favorite months of the whole year of 2019 for so many things, for launches. Also, we've got 3 times the sweetness, 3 times as many sweet aspects this month. It is an amazing time to do anything important until around February 18th when we start shifting into Mercury retrograde shadow period. So I've got lots and lots of details about my favorite days to do important things, plus a massive amount of details specifically for you and your sign. So let's look at those details now. Hello, Aquarius friends. Okay, so the first thing I have on my mind for you this month is birthdays. Okay, so birthday, also called the solar return in astrology, is when the sun gets back to the same point that it was at when you were born. Of course, the sun isn't moving, we are, but from our perspective, astrology is, it's geocentric. So here we're here and everything is moving around us. Okay, so the sun will get back to the exact degree that it was at when you were born. And at that exact moment, that's your solar return. The sun in the chart represents the things that you want. So when the energetic representative of the things that we want comes back to meet itself, it opens a portal for desires. That's where birthdays come from. Birthday wishes are actually astrological. To understand how you can utilize this birthday portal, definitely look up my video. If you just look for Annie making wishes come true, it should come up. I don't think you have to put Botticelli in. If you search anywhere in that, you should be able to find that video that talks in detail about how you can use astrological power periods for wishing, to change your life. So first thing, just wanted to let you all know happy birthday. And for those of you who are watching for your rising or moon sign, it is equally as exciting to have the sun cross over your ascendant or your moon or whatever placement of Aquarius you're watching for. Okay, the 2 things that I want to talk about this month are Venus and Saturn. I'm choosing them partly because I want to illustrate how some quicker moving planets can influence the same area regardless of whether you're early, middle, or late. I guess what we need to do first is establish whether you're early, middle, or late. And so I made this handy dandy chart for you. Okay, so now you can figure out if you're an early, middle, or late degree Aquarius. If you're watching for rising sign or moon, the degree range is there and you can see the dates. So I will have this up during the discussion so that you can figure out where you are in this. Okay, but certain of the things that we talk about are going to be the same for everybody. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is Venus. Okay. So when you're looking at this mishmash of madness that is a chart, right? It's like, what is all of this? It's craziness. It can be overwhelming. So what I like to do is just break it down piece by piece and then also understand these planets as people. They have personalities and they have archetypal energy. So if we understand the energy of the archetype of the being, of the person that is represented, the character, then we can see how it can affect us. So Venus is going to be blessing the 11th house for a while longer for you early degree placements. And then you middle degree placements, you are also going to have Venus accentuating the 11th house this month. And then You late degree placements, you are also going to have joined in this party here of Venus in the 11th house. Okay, so for this aspect of the discussion, early, middle, and late is going to be the same, but do just know that for you early degree placements, Venus will move on from that position sooner than the rest of you. So it will be part of the month that this is going on, and the rest of the placements will have it for most, if not all, of the month. So Venus, I always like to explain Venus as my Grandma Marge. Okay, so actually now that we know everybody's dealing with the 11th house here, let's get some of this out of the way so that we've got a little bit of room to work here. Okay, so my grandmother Marge, small Italian woman, such a joy to be around. Whenever I would see her, she would always be reaching her hands up, and just to kind of give you the picture, I was always taller than her, even as a kid, for whatever reason. So she'd reach her hands up in the air, grab my face, kiss me on the mouth. Okay? Love is part of the Venus archetype. Affection, attention. Okay. Then she would slip $5 in my pocket. Money is another representation of Venus. Then she would, this is a very terrible looking fork, but this is a fork and that is a meatball. And she would shove a meatball in my mouth. If you have any Italian relatives, then you will know that pretty much that's what we do. We make meatballs and we shove them in people's mouths. So this is the story of my childhood. And she would put the meatball in my mouth. So sustenance, support, comfort is another aspect of Venus. And then, of course, she'd also say, "You're so beautiful." Right? She'd grab grandkids by the face and say, "Faccia bella," and she'd just like kiss us. Okay, so beauty and love is part of Venus as well. So that's the energy of Venus. So wherever Venus moves through in our charts, that energy of my Grandma Marge is blessing that space. Okay, so we talked about the 11th house being enhanced for early, middle, and late degree placements. So the areas being enhanced are friendships. There could be amazing connections. If your friend or somebody wants to connect you with somebody this month, do it, because a very sweet connection could be made. If you're doing online dating, or any kind of dating, really, this was one of the dating houses, but the 11th house rules online. So if you're looking for somebody, pay special attention to friends and acquaintances, groups. That's because that's all that's ruled, that rules all of that. And then online dating. It's a really great time for all of that. And February is one of my favorite months of the year for online dating, especially through February 18th, because that's when the shadow period for Mercury starts again. But it's just super sweet and super clear. So making any money or doing any business on the internet, expanding your work on the internet, anything technologically advanced, patents, things like that, is beautiful this month. And this is one of my favorite months of the whole year for launches as well, because we've got those planets moving all forward still through the 18th. We've got beautiful aspects, which I'll talk more about in the general transits. I'll give you the dates of those, but just amazing energy. And all the planets are still moving forward until the 18th as well. So it's just super clear. So it's just a really great time to be out and about, connecting with people, online connecting with people. It's a time of important connections, and you can have some very, very important connections come in. Okay, so Grandma Marge hanging out in your 11th house. Okay, so now this is where things get interesting, because when we look at the early, middle, and late degree placements, we'll just get this back here. So if you hadn't figured out whether you're early, middle, or late degree, you can see here. This, when we're looking at an outer planet, you can really see why I have to differentiate between early, middle, and late, because Saturn for the last year, 2018, has really been very strongly hanging out in the 12th house. Okay. For you middle degree placements, you're just now, some of you early ones, you've had it at the end of 2018, but middle degrees, you're having it like January February is starting to really affect your 12th house. You later middle degree placements, this is going to be staggered a bit for you. But you can see here, and there's like the big shining moment here. Check out Saturn over here. Just nowhere near the 12th house. Okay, Saturn's it's going to be a while before Saturn's really in that 12th house for you. Okay, so we want to talk about what Saturn does, what it can do, and what it's doing, and what to expect. So in order to better understand this, let's talk about Saturn as a person, what his personality is like, and the range of expression. Okay, so Saturn rules father energy. Saturn actually rules the 10th house in Capricorn. So Saturn, Capricorn, and father figures, father energy all go together. Sternness, authoritativeness, anything having to do with discipline, all of that is a 10th house energy. So there's a spectrum of how we experience Saturn. On one end, the lower vibration, where we're like, ugh, it's difficult, it's heavy, feel like we're getting crushed like a bug in the area that it is in. It's just obstacles and delays and challenges, questioning, pressure. That's one of the big taglines of Saturn. Okay, so that's one end. The other end is fruition, accomplishment. I'm not going to write the whole word, but just so you can remember accomplishment. Stability, manifestation. So Saturn is the thing that brings things into form. It actually represents form itself. So we need Saturn. So that's the range of potential expression. And we have like big smiles over there. So what Saturn wants you to do in order to convert this into this is to work hard, be disciplined, be diligent, and be consistent in the areas that he's moving, the sign and the house. But if people don't understand that, they're just suffering a lot of times with all of this, okay? So in previous times, you early and some of you middle have had the pressure in the 11th house. Now, you late degree, you still have the pressure in the 11th house. So the 11th house has to do with friendships, large organizations, groups, teams, acquaintances, internet-related things. So any of those Saturnian things in the spectrum or taglines have been applying to this 11th house and is still going to be for you late degree placements. You're still like working hard to get your internet stuff online, like all the things we talked about was potentials for Venus, except that was so much softer. This is the Saturnian hard work. So you've got extra energy there in the 11th house. All of you really do for some reason or another. So it's very much having to do with laying the groundwork for these fields of experience, friendship, dating, acquaintances, internet, things like that. Interacting with other people, community-based projects, things like that. But the big caution and the big thing to note, and I can tell you this from looking at thousands of charts live, like doing thousands of live readings and looking at thousands of horoscope charts and just doing this for so long, almost 100% of the time, when I see Saturn go in the 12th house, depression is a common outcome. And if you are depressed by nature, this can add more pressure. If you're not a person who's depressed by nature, this can make you feel bad and weird. So one of the top things I recommend, and please note here, I'm not a doctor. You have to do the research yourself. You have to ask your body. You have to check with your doctor, make sure this is appropriate for you. But high quality omegas, so fish oil is really the best version of that. But high quality omegas, you can get a vegetarian based omega. However, do know that there are countless variables that are involved with converting vegetarian-based omegas into usable form for certain aspects of what they're helpful for, and it's impossible to track that conversion process. So if you are a person who has a lot of serious heaviness, you may consider lifting, just having the fish oil. And if not, you can try the, non-animal based. But getting support mentally, and fish oil can definitely take the edge off the omegas that you need. But really, what is it wanting you to do? Early and middle degree people, especially right now, coming later for you late degree people, it wants you to master your mind. This isn't an arbitrary transit, It's trying to get you to master your mind. This is the house of the deep unconscious mind. It wants you to have mastery here. So the counterbalance, the thing that you can do here that can offset all the heaviness and make lemonade out of the lemons, is to meditate, work with subliminals, use affirmations, do past life regression, do hypnotherapy, anything where you are going into your mind bravely and mastering it. You can convert this heaviness to solidity and stability, which is what Saturn's trying to do. It's trying to give you awesome stability and fruition and access to all of the riches in that space. So, just wanted to give you a heads up about that, because that is definitely going to be relevant for many people. I have seen many a person who isn't like heavy in their mind by nature have that there. Now, I know there are going to be a ton of people that will hear this and say, wow, what a bummer you are. And if you know me at all, you will know that like I am one of the most positive people ever. And I always can convert everything challenging to something positive. So no, it actually isn't a bummer. It's a bummer if you don't know that this is happening. Yeah. But if you know it's happening, then you can say, hey, Saturn's testing a weak link, and I get to strengthen that weak link, because likely if there was a weak link there, it was a weak link your whole life and it was debilitating you. But now you have a chance to strengthen your mind in ways you never knew possible. Okay, so those same principles are applying for you late degree placements in the 11th house, and some of you middle degree, just doing the work you need to make your friendships, your acquaintances, your community-based projects, your internet things, make them come to life. Okay, so those are the things that are most on my mind for Aquarius for this month. Now I want to talk about the beautiful transits, the dates of the beautiful transits, the challenging transits. There are not as many of them, but I want you to be aware of them and what you can look out for there, plus other things that you need to know about this month. So let's look at the general charts now. So the theme of the month for February 2019 for all signs is 3 times the sweetness. And that is because literally we have 3 times as many sweet aspects as we do challenging ones. In the beginning of January, we started these really nice open skies with the stars, the planets moving direct. But January was a little bit dicey in the way that we had 2 powerful eclipses. And for some people, those brought amazing positive changes. For others, very stressful changes. And some people were just holding space for others as they went through the changes. And some positive changes still could have carried some stress because of just the newness of them. Trying to get into a new rhythm or having it come all of a sudden can carry its own kind of stress, even if it's a very positive thing. So February is going to have a totally different energy. The open stars of having all the planets be direct is going to continue through February 18th. So we've got all that going on. And then, like I mentioned, we actually have a massive amount of sweet aspects. We do have a second supermoon that is at its 1st degree. So this whole energy of clean slate is continuing. And that's just a very, major theme for all of 2019, actually, that's being initiated here at the beginning. I'm going to give you a list of the days that have sweet aspects and a list of the days that have challenging ones, and then we'll go into some more details. But definitely remember to go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and sign up for my free email newsletter to receive a written version of these general transits delivered into your inbox a month early so that you have them visually for planning purposes. Okay, and if you are already on my email list and you're not getting my emails, then definitely check spam, social, events, folders, and move them into your inbox to get your inbox the message that you want them there. Okay, so the sweet days are going to be, let's just make a little list over here. And so the sweet days, these happy ones, are going to be the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, 4th, 7th, 9th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 22nd, 23rd, and 27th. Okay, the challenging ones, and as I give you these dates, remember that we often feel the energy of a transit before or after the actual transit, so don't hang your hat too heavily on the exact date. Just know that present and the days around these days are the transits. Okay, so the challenging ones, where we'll just kind of put a little guy having some difficulties there. Okay, so we have a challenging transit around the 1st, the 12th, the 14th, and the 22nd. And also in those days at the end of the month, there's, on March 1st, there is a challenging aspect, so you might feel some of that in the days at the end of the month. But in general, you can see a lot more sweetness there. And when you track this over time, you can really see a difference, like the mood of the month is very much directly affected by the amount of sweet aspects we have versus challenging ones. Okay, so let's just do a little summary of some of the major ones here, and then definitely go to AnnieHelpsYou.com to get a list of the rest and what you can experience with them. So on the 31st, I'm going to list the Saturn in Capricorn sextile Neptune in Pisces again. Okay, so let's see. Saturn there. Neptune there. Because as you can see, like here at the beginning of the month, they're only a degree apart. So that aspect, that beautiful 60-degree angle, it's one of the most favorable in astrology, is still going to be echoing out for many days, even a couple of weeks, the first couple of weeks of February. You'll be feeling the sweet vibes from this sweet lineup. Whenever planets that are outer planets get together, in any configuration, they last longer than the ones that move more quickly. Okay, so you'll be feeling those sweet vibes. And in general, this is characterized by material gains coming from spiritual focus and pursuits, or artistic focus and pursuits. So kind of like a blending of the sides of the brain, a blending of the seen and unseen. Okay, so the next thing around that time, and this is one you really got to watch out for. Mars in Aries square Pluto in Capricorn. Okay, so we got Mars in Aries there. Pluto in Cap here. You can see they're at 21 degrees right from the beginning there. So they're matching. And that's a square. That's like a, no, we don't like that one as much. Now, it is true that challenging aspects can definitely spark something important. And for the seeker, we don't have to look negatively upon these challenging aspects, because they could sometimes give us the catalyst that we need to do something, or it could be a conflict that sparks a breakthrough. But as far as like your general safety, definitely be careful around those days, because it's just the kind of energy that could actually be dangerous. You don't want to antagonize a crazy person in the beginning of the month there. You want to be careful with your physical body. You want to guard your head, guard your bones. Okay, so now we start the sweetness spree. Venus and Uranus getting together on February 2nd. So we've got Venus here. We have Uranus here. Okay, so this is going to move into configuration with this. Venus rules love, beauty, money, self-esteem, design projects. Uranus is the great awakener, the great bringer of surprises. So in the days before and after the 2nd, sweet surprises are more likely. And of course, that's happening at the same time as that awkward, possibly dangerous aspect the day before. That's why I always say we have to remember, like, these are layers of a truth that are happening all at once. And if you're trying to plan a launch or doing something important, your personal experience is going to outweigh any date something is, quote, supposed to be good. You know, you may feel the icky aspect earlier and then the nice one later. You know, you just got to tune in. But if you know what's going on, it helps you to follow these things. And I see it happen all the time, that people who are sensitive, people who are empathic, people who are paying attention will tend to feel like, wow, something's up in the stars, you know? And so you have your answers here as to what's going on. Another sweet aspect on the 3rd between Mercury and Jupiter. Where are the buddies? Okay, Mercury and Jupiter. I'm going to move into configuration there. So that is really great for anything important: communication, mobility, important connections, travel, could manifest in wonderful ways, having to make important purchases for devices or cars. I love this energy for that. Then we've got the new moon at 15 degrees of Aquarius on February 4th. So lots of sweet energy there. This new moon is also in a conjunction with Mercury and a beautiful aspect with Jupiter, which enhances it. Then the sun, on the 7th, the sun is in a beautiful aspect with Jupiter. So whenever anything is in a nice aspect with Jupiter, it's like benevolence, good luck, sweetness. So the sun will move there. And then, of course, these will be together as well. So that could bring important news, important connections. More sweetness and positive surprises on the 9th with Mercury and Uranus getting together. The 12th and 13th, this is one of those times to watch, because this is where Mars and Uranus get together in Aries. So both of those can be a little bit aggressive, can be a little bit jarring. Aries energy can be a little bit physically, could be dangerous. So just watch your body. And Aries rules the head. So, and again, just don't antagonize crazy people. If you're driving, it's not the time to like make some sort of negative movement towards a driver that you don't like. And also things like not texting when you're walking, just paying extra attention in the days around the 12th and 13th, because tensions will be running higher. So I always say you can prepare for these kind of energies by trying to rest, get good sleep, be relaxed, so that when they come, you can kind of just navigate through them as a spiritual ninja. I always use the example with aspects like this, like if you're a grandparent and you have your grandkids coming to visit, you could either leave out all your white linens and all your white stuff, only to have the kids destroy them, because that's just what kids do when they're playing, right? Or you can swap them out for the kid-friendly things and then have a rest-free time, so that when the chaos and madness comes, that all the things that you want to remain safe are, and you don't have to stress about them. So that's what I always think about when there's an aspect like this. Like if you know some stress is coming, and you just kind of like, take your magnesium, take your B vitamins, you just have your coherence plan situated, then it makes it much easier. Okay, so back to sunny skies and sweetness again with our little happy cloud there, with the 17th and 18th. We've got Venus in Capricorn making a beautiful aspect to Neptune in Pisces. And, okay, so let's show you where that is. Let me say there, Venus in Cap. Okay, so you can see here Venus is in Sag, but it is going to move into Capricorn by the 17th and 18th. And that's going to make a nice aspect with Neptune here. Dreamy, creative, spiritual breakthroughs, things like that. And then the Sun in Aquarius is going to come together with Uranus at this point in a beautiful way. Okay, so that's later in the month when this joins into a configuration with this. But again, the 17th, 18th, just sweetness. I love it for important things. Love, money, idealism, romance, art, creativity, expression of every kind, action, motivation, inspiration are just all enhanced beautifully at this time. And then the full moon, that second supermoon of the year. Supermoon is a moon that is actually closer to us. When you look at it, you're like, what? Why is the moon so big? It's because it's closer. And of course, it exerts more gravitational effects when it's closer. So it tends to be more intense, more emotional. So do prepare for an extra emotional full moon. But for the most part, there are sweet aspects with this full moon, with 0, almost 1 degrees of Virgo on the 19th. So lots of wonderful things coming to fulfillment, fruition. Could be some drama. Some people experience negative drama at the full moons, but there is a lot of sweetness at this particular full moon. Moving along to the 22nd, we've got a square. That's one of our challenging aspect days. We've got a square with Mercury and Jupiter. And where are you guys? Okay, so Mercury is going to come and Jupiter is going to be in a square. Of course, Mercury is not going to be here at this point. It's going to move over there, and that's where the square is going to happen. But, you know, communication, mobility, things like that, kind of getting a little pressure from Jupiter. Even when Jupiter has kind of like a challenging aspect, it tends to manifest in a softer way than the rest of the outer planets. So I usually list like just exhaustion for this one, like being overtired. And of course, if you're going because of all these sweet aspects and because you have this open window and because, you know, the Mercury retrograde shadow period is going to start on February 19th, which is true, then you could be tired because you're trying to fit a lot in. And really, it is important to note that I love this month up until about the 18th or 19th. So we'll just say February 1st through the 19th, or we'll even just say the beginning of January, but since we're in February, we'll talk about this through the 19th here, is some of my best favorite launch times in the whole year. You will have other opportunities, but in April, Jupiter is going to go retrograde, and it's always nice to have Jupiter direct when you do important things. And then, of course, you know, we don't have as many retrograde issues as we did last year, but it really is good to take advantage of this time. I know that I'm planning to just like run it really hard until around this point, and then just start to roll in the backdrop again. Okay, so another sweet aspect on the 23rd. Actually on the 22nd, there's one that could go either way. Venus gets together with Pluto. So Venus will make it over here to connect with Pluto. And that, you know, Pluto's intensity and Venus is love and money and self-esteem and things like that. So that could kind of go either way. Some intense news or an intense experience with love or money. Could be an ego battle, something like that. Another sweet aspect on the 23rd. Another sweet aspect on the 27th. And then on March 1st, we've got that square with Venus and Uranus. It's going to come over. Of course, you can't see the square actually happening here now because Venus will have moved quite a bit, and that's when it will come into the square configuration, which is a challenge. You know, so those days at the end of the month, there could be, you know, love spats, money issues, things like that. But remember that when we're talking about aspects like with Venus, you know, usually it blows over in a couple of days. So it's not always a big deal. It might feel kind of stressful at the time. So these are the things that are most on my mind for the general transits. Really sweet month full of awesome possibilities, amazing for launches moving forward, some of the best stars of the year for doing important things. So definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com. You can check out my blog. You can check out my astrology apprenticeship program if you love how I teach astrology and you'd like to learn for your own personal or professional purposes. If you'd love to be a coach as your profession and bring your business online, I can teach you how to do that. You can check out my coach certification and online business course, also at anniehelpsyou.com. Definitely check out my new publishing company, Luminous Life Books and Beyond, along with my new book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life and the World in 28 Days with these magical, powerful, super effective prayers and affirmations. So you can see that at anniehelpsyou.com along with all kinds of other goodies. If you'd love written horoscopes by me, you can check out my website, cozybysweetstarlight.com. At cozybysweetstarlight.com, I write written horoscopes, often with different information than I share in the reports. And I always put those up a month early as well. And I've got all kinds of other lifestyle blogs written by me and other up-and-coming bloggers.
If you are a traveler, you can check out my website, astrologykissedtravelbliss.com, for astrology travel reports monthly. If you are going to travel, you can see what the stars are like for traveling. And I also have other blogs on there. And definitely check out my husband's website, iamhelios.com, IAMHELIOS.com. He's always got new and different things on there, so you can check out his tarot offerings, and he also does astrology readings as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!